In the name of God, who is creating, redeeming, and sustaining. Amen. Please be seated. You can see we brought out our best for John, so good luck with that smoke. It's going to keep coming. I invite you to take a really deep breath if you can. Take a slow one in and out, and let's be here. You can take more than one if you'd like. This is from the Benedictine Prayers for the Dead. We seem to give them back to you, O God, who gave them to us. Yet as you did not lose them in giving, so do we not lose them by their return. Not as the world gives do you give, O lover of souls. What you give you do not take away. For what is yours is ours also, if we are yours. And life is eternal, and love immortal, and death is only an horizon, and a horizon is nothing save the limit of our sight. Lift us up, strong Son of God, that we may see further. Cleanse our eyes that we may see more clearly. Draw us closer to yourself that we may know ourselves to be nearer to our loved ones who are with you. And while you prepare a place for us, prepare us also for that happy place, that where you are, we may also be forevermore. And life is eternal, and love immortal. You couldn't write a better line for John Divine McGee, I think. Everyone in this room knows him better than I do, which is often the position of the priest, but didn't have to be today, just happens to be. All I've got is when I was in the process of figuring out whether this is where I was going to get to come, and everybody was supposed to stay away from the building so that some of us could walk around and get to know it and pray about that. John Divine McGee was here every time I was in the building and made a point of introducing himself. And the last time said, "Don't worry, you'll be fine. I'll be here. You can call me anytime." And my first thought was, well, I'd never do that. That's awful. And my second thought was, thank God, I'll be fine. He'll be here. I can call him anytime. I'm sure I'm not the only one who felt that way about him. There's a huge hole in the heart of this church, and it's going to be there for a while, just where we are together. For those of you that are family and old friends, I know some of you have known him since you were in elementary school and high school. I got calls from people that knew him in college, who hadn't seen him for a long time. Some of you spent a lot of the last week of his life with him on long calls and walking together, working on things together. The number of people that just told me that makes me wonder, one, how he had that many hours in a day, right? But I also know I only heard a little bit of the truth of the generosity of his life. In my family, we tell a story that when my grandmother died, which wasn't that long ago, all of us adult children, and we are old adult grandchildren, were sitting around in the front room while our elderly parents worked out the last details at the end of her life. And we started to laugh, some of us sitting with our children there, because we realized that every single one of us thought we were her favorite. I was in my 40s when that happened. We looked around at each other a little sheepishly, but I think also thinking, you think you're her favorite, but I know I am. John was like that, wasn't he? And you were absolutely his favorite. You were. This place was. You were. You don't get to meet many people like that in the course of a life. I've also met people here who have said very clearly that at difficult times in his life, this place was here for him. The lay people of this place, the clergy of this place, for quite a while back, right? There's been a lot offered and a lot received. So as we think about how this hole fills itself in and who we become, I have one thought and a sense that we have a lot of work ahead of us for all of us to be the people we would need to be for that to happen. And I think we can do it, and we will do it. Barbara Brown Taylor, in her book on death, uses Henri Picard's phrase that death is that moment, that breath, as we all just took, before God says the first word, let there be. that in death we return to that place before creation. It's one of these profound ideas, but also so logical in some ways, right? That right before you go back to be a part of God again. That's how I like to think about John. Returned to the place of love that he came from, exactly as he was meant to be, not better or different than the life he lived, exactly like that, in the body of God's self, returned, in that inhale before the exhale that is the first word of creation. I don't know that I find any of these words comforting as much as I find them to be profound truths about what it means to be human beings together. And that's what he helped us to do, is be human beings together. We all have little bits of his story and in his encouragement, right? Probably none of us, absolutely all of it. But I think it's important to know that for his family, our deepest condolences from this church. We loved him well, and we are grateful for him, and that we is the St. Luke's we. He was well loved by this place and important to this place, and we are with you in your sorrow. And to this church, your sorrow is so profound. I've been a priest a while, and I've never been a part of a service or preparing a service where so many people with a lot of love and sadness had a strong feeling about exactly what the right thing would be to do. Or maybe you're all just like that here, I don't know. But they were all good things. We'd be here a long time if we did them all. Really good things. Because people wanted to honor him well, I think. Really honor him well. And make sure that nothing was lost in this process. Because he wouldn't have wanted any of you to feel lost. We read the readings today, the readings that were chosen today, as you can imagine, were chosen with a lot of intention. They're among the ones prescribed for a funeral. And it hints at the person who knows that God is with them when the world tells them God could not possibly be for you. God actually has rejected you, Job's friends tell him. What'd you do that you haven't told us? Get it right. And he responds, I know that my Redeemer liveth. Oh, I can hear John Divine McGee saying that. And the gospel is, you may think you know who is the beloved of God. You may think you recognize your fellow sheep in the sheep pen who belong to the shepherd. But you'll be wrong. I'll be wrong. There are many that we will never know of. And wasn't that the witness of his life with us? So here's the task if we want to fill that hole, church. We've got to be those people, looking out for those who feel left out, for those who need a little love, for those who need to be told they're the favorite, which is all of us, right? And believe you, for those who need a little more incense and fine church in their lives, for those who don't yet know that the healing love of God is available for them here, if they want to be here, for those that need to be met exactly where they are, for those that think they have fallen too far to come back. We can be for them, and we can be for them with style and grace and wit if we're lucky, but we can also just be our own awkward selves, struggling to be a little bit of who he was. We seem to give them back to you, O God, who gave them to us. Yet as you did not lose them in giving, so do we not lose them by their return. Not as the world gives do you give, O lover of souls. What you give you do not take away, for what is yours is ours also, if we are yours, and life is eternal, and love immortal.